So we're going to be discussing about network security, how exactly you're going to be protecting your network and the data which is residing in your network. We would be discussing on how exactly you're going to be protecting your home network and your data which is residing in that network. We're going to be touch basing upon something called as a VPN, which is short form for virtual private networks. It is pretty simple, though it might, sound a little tough. We'll get through it, not worry. Then we will also be discussing about firewalls, about some advanced topics like network security software, and some resources that can help you in your journey to secure your home network in a better way. So, first of all, what is network security? Definitely, network security is protect your home network, or rather the internet that you're using. Some unauthorized person like a hacker or a scammer to come get into inside your network and steal your valuable information. It can be a data information like credit card and banking, what are the websites you're going through. It can be a lot of things. So all those things we would call it as data. So network security would involve a combination of many, many defensive layers. So in cybersecurity, we like to call this as a layer of onions. So similarly, it's always a best practice to have multiple layers of defense. So even if one is compromised, you have the other one protecting you. So if network security is compromised for hardware and software, what kind of data can be breached and how exactly we are going to be eliminating threats? And at the same time, having network security is also deemed to be effective when you are accessing to a network which is managed. Now, for the home network security, I'm pretty much sure everybody is using a wireless internet. I'm sure a lot will be using the wired connections as well, but Wi-Fi has taken place, giving us luxury to connect multiple devices into your home network. But should definitely take steps to secure your Wi-Fi connection to ensure that nobody is accessing the data which is residing in your Wi-Fi network layer. Cyber criminals can access your data by simply hacking into your Wi-Fi router, and hence if you do not have a security, then potentially any hacker can log into any device in your house. Tips for protecting your network at home. First and foremost thing, every device comes with a default username and a password. The best practice is always change it. Change the username, change the password, have the default username and password disabled. There is a new functionality inside all these routers these days that for guests you can have a separate isolated network coming in from your router, so you can create a specific network only for guests. The other foremost important thing is to ensure that you are keeping the firewall firmware updated. As a matter of fact, devices which are getting connected to the internet, it's always a good habit to have all these firmwares updated. So firmwares are basically the softwares which run these appliances or devices. Ensure wherever it's possible to disable any kind of a remote access. And I would especially like to emphasize on that. I personally know that a lot of scammers actually use a remote access to get into the computers and steal all kind of banking informations and all those things. So having this disabled is one of the first and foremost thing that one should be doing. And the best place to position your router would be definitely at the center of the home. There are two reasons to it. First and foremost is that when you're putting the router in the center of the house, your entire house is getting a coverage from the Wi-Fi signals. And the second important thing is that the Wi-Fi signal strength is limited within your house. It's not going outside your house. The threat comes in when somebody outside your house is trying to tap into your network and then trying to do a malicious activity. So having it in the middle of your house gives a better kind of a security than having it at the edge of your house. Talking about private networks, these are commonly known as VPNs. A VPN is a very nice way of securing your home network and the traffic that your computers or any device is communicating with. What a VPN generally does it is creates a secure tunnel that any data that you are transmitting from your devices is going to be encrypted and cannot be accessed by any unauthorized users. So this is first and foremost go-to tool for any kind of a network security. Enterprises follow it, considers one of the best practices for home use as well. When you are going public, when you are transmitting your information to the public, whatever you're trying to access, public entities also can see from where the traffic is coming in, or rather from where the requests are coming in. So VPN kind of protects, rather gives a layer where your identity is kind of masked, and your IP address, which is unique to everyone, is kind of hidden. So if you are using your system out here and you want to connect to the internet, say maybe go to Facebook, or I want to access your email, the traffic in between which is unsecured generally, and that's where hackers, scammers, snoopers, they use a concept called as man in the middle attack to tap into that data and fetch all the information. Now, when you're putting in a VPN, it's basically, as you can see, it's like a tunnel. So all your information and data actually passes through this tunnel. So even if there's a skilled hacker, snooper, they want to get into it, they won't be able to tap into your data which you are sharing. Now, some of the recommended VPNs, there are a bunch of free VPNs and there are a bunch of paid VPNs as well. Proton VPN, Privado VPN, Hotspot Shield. They are kind of vendors who are providing free VPN. In terms of paid, I think the leaders are NordVPN, ExpressVPN, and Surfshark. Some of the useful tips, phishing or smishing, where they purposefully send out hyperlinks or what we call as like website links to users. When they click on it, they get access or they get information about that person. So please be aware of what are the links you are clicking in. Do a validation whether it is required, whether it is genuine. There are multiple ways to spot a scam. So definitely you should know and understand, like, okay, if the email is genuine or it can be a scam, because this is a very common tactics these days scammers are using. Whenever you are receiving an email, if it looks suspicious, something similar like you know your credit card is going to be charged, the first thing is I would say do look into the sender, if that email is genuine or authentic or not. The scammers are quite clever. I'm just going to give you an example because I do investigate a lot of scams. So one of the things that they do is they're trying to use Gmail, and I'm going to send you to your Gmail address, but they're sending it as, say, like Rogers or FedEx. So if an email comes in from FedEx or Rogers, it is going to be from FedEx.com or Rogers.com. So please ensure that you check the full email address before responding or reacting to any kind of those emails. And last but not the least, have the softwares on your computers always updated. The reason for this is every software has a vulnerability. When these companies find out those vulnerabilities, they fix it with software updates. So no hacker or no malpractitioner can actually use those vulnerabilities to get into your machine. Hence, keep your softwares updated. Next, firewall. This is another great concept of having a security on your network. Now, firewall is a network monitoring, security monitoring system that controls your in and out of traffic, like what's going coming into your computer and what's going out of your computer. So firewalls is generally, as the name suggests, it's like a wall. So it creates a barrier between some trusted networks and untrusted networks and kind of prevents unauthorized outsiders, threat actors to access your data. There are multiple kind of firewalls available. There are hardware firewalls and there are software firewalls available. Hardware firewalls is most common in cases of business, and software firewalls is very common in our day-to-day use. I would say most of the antivirus companies, they do come in with a firewall. If you're using Windows, Windows has its own firewall. So does Mac. So we can get a basic level of protection of firewall within them itself. It's very important to understand that all these firewalls have the intelligence to detect the threats till a certain extent, I would say, from getting into your device. It does prevents or protects you. And a little advanced, I would say we can customize the firewall in a lot of ways how we can prevent a lot of these threats as well. But if you don't have the firewall enabled on your system, you are leaving exposed your devices. It's always good to have a firewall with you. So all Macintosh operating systems or Windows operating systems, they have firewall inbuilt inside it. Microsoft, it is called as Windows Defender. When you go to the default firewall settings, you would find firewall being enabled or not. In fact, the later versions of Windows, starting from Windows 10 and 11, they keep on constantly giving you alerts if your firewall is not enabled. So all what you need to do is go to the security settings of your computer and check if the firewall is on or off. In case of Mac, you need to go to the Apple menu, you have system preferences, you have security and privacy, and over there you will find firewall. Just go ahead and click on turn the firewall on. And for Windows, under settings, you have something called as privacy and security. There you are going to find firewall and network protection. And over there, you can select which firewall you want to go for. You can select the profile. You want to go for a domain, private or public. I would recommend a private in case of home use. Public network if you are taking this laptop to coffee shop or any place like that. Some recommended firewalls, software-based firewalls, I think is Zone Alarm. You have Komodo. You have TinyWall. Paid ones, Bitdefender, Avast, Norton. You have for McAfee, Symantec. So all the antivirus companies provide you a firewall from their side as well. For network security, if you have a very large house or you have a lot of devices connected to your Wi-Fi router or to your network, it will be really handy to have a network security software because using softwares like Bitdefender, Avast Cloud, Firemon, WatchGuard, Qualys, FireEye, Cisco Network Security, and WebRoot. So all these companies, I would say, can provide you with security orchestration. That's what they call an orchestration layer on how you exactly want to manage your network security. However, if anybody is having a business and they want to be concerned about this, I would say Qualys, FireEye, Cisco Network, and WebRoot would be a tailor-made solution for them. Apart from that, the other solutions can help you manage your network. You can see we call something as a network flow monitor. I think it's going to be too advanced. Yeah, we kind of try to follow the traffic, like where is the data going? It should not be going into a country where it is not supposed to. So these softwares kind of help with that.